The Grammys can add any category they want as long as they make sure they give BTS their best album nomination, their best pop album nomination, their best song of the year. There is a stacked house of nominations for which Arirang definitely deserves. And with the announcement of 5 new categories that will be present in the Grammy 2027, ARMY is rightfully side-eyeing the Academy once again. It's no surprise when even the group themselves can acknowledge that the Grammys often plays in their faces. In the 2026 Billboard article, Namjoon actually talks about how it's great to see that the Grammys are expanding and diversifying, and acknowledging Rose's nomination. But in consideration to submitting Arirang for the Grammys, Namjoon said, maybe we'll submit our album to the Grammys again, but I don't know. We don't want to be desperately eager for it. We don't want to say anymore like, man, we want the Grammy. I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't really want it, but we'll try. But if not, then okay. That's the professional way of saying they have played in our faces one too many times to a point where we don't even give a fuck. But Arirang has been an album that has been so well received, especially in the music industry, or at least in the news reporting aspect of it. This is an album that has undeniably proved that BTS are the legends that their fandom thinks they are. They are the #1 artist in the world. The cultural influence and impact, the streaming influence and impact, the economic influence and impact just from the tour itself, the discourse that this album created, and the demanding of taking K-pop artists such as BTS serious as artists. Though they don't need it, this is incredible evidence to finally give BTS the music industry acknowledgement that they deserve. Respectfully, Namjoon, it's fuck what you care about and what you want, because it's about what you deserve. And you deserve it! But when you look at how they've played in the face of Western artists, I mean, Beyonce finally won Album of the Year as well as Country Album of the Year. And the next year, they opened up a traditional and contemporary category. 4 country albums that felt a little bit discrediting to the concept of Cowboy Carter actually being a country album. It's not to deny or overshadow historical moments in which the Recording Academy's musical taste is evolving. The Grammys are evolving. But when you add new categories that are so specific that it almost feels like you're trying to box in a genre, it's fair to question why. And I read the Grammys announcement for the new category. A lot of it is rightfully framed as trying to give greater recognition around the world, like the Best Latin Song category. Latin songwriters have not had a dedicated award within the Latin field. This new category creates meaningful recognition for the songwriters, expanding representation for the genre within the Grammy process as it continues to make a global impact. For R&B, they added another category as well as changed what the concept of Best R&B Performance is. Now there's a solo R&B performance and there's an R&B collaboration. For Best Folk Album, they changed it to traditional and contemporary. It's a better classification for artists that go under the radar of appreciation of not actually being recognized. But then again, these are categories that are rarely recognized on TV. And now you're making specific categories for people that y'all don't even give a fuck about to let walk across the stage. Specific categories for artists being overlooked, but why are they being overlooked? That's the question. Respectfully, a Latin songwriter, if they're writing the music that's that good, they should be getting the same amount of credit that a songwriter, a best song would be getting. I get the reason, trust me. It's very valid. But at the same time, these are the questions that appear in my mind. When we look now at Best Asian Pop Music Performance, it's low-key a very limiting genre. It's nice to acknowledge East Asian, because that's really what we talking about here. J-pop, Mando-pop, and K-pop. East Asian music performances. And it's great that they're in consideration to recognizing even more Asian music performances. But when they're stating about the conversation behind the scenes that led to this category creation, they make sure to say that the Academy members felt like this was the right time to create a category that more accurately reflects the genre scale. Why is this the right time? Because personally, when New Jeans came out and they had Super Shy, that would have been a perfect time. I don't believe that this is an evil category because it is a great way for Asian pop artists to get more recognition worldwide. Or let's drop the word worldwide, Western. It's a great recognition for groups that are not BTS. But in consideration that BTS has had 5 Grammy nominations for which they have lost, in categories for which they should have won, in categories for which Best Asian Pop Music Performance was created, BTS should have won a duo performance Grammy. Oh no, I don't like Dynamite should have won. Butter should have won. The 2023 nominations are not too bad. You could argue whether or not they deserve those. But you see the red thread here in acknowledging how impactful K-pop has been when we look at Golden. When we look at, I know, Cat's Eye. When we look at Les Seraphim, la, 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 You hear the songs in commercials. You hear the songs online. You hear the songs in games. Undeniable moments in which the Asian music has dominated the Western Hemisphere and yet has gotten no credit for it. But while, yes, it is like great that they're diversifying themselves and they're exploring more music categories, but the fuck should y'all niggas already been exploring? You low-key just told me to drink at the fucking color fountain. That's what that felt like. That's low-key what it feel like. You telling me I can't drink why I can't drink pop? Why I can't? I'm an Asian pop artist, but
So the Grammys have announced 5 new categories, and people are not happy. I personally am not happy. The 2 categories that has everyone up in arms is the Best Latin Song and the Best Asian Pop Performance. But I want to talk about the Latin category first. Now, previously, the Grammys have only honored Latin album, which recognizes the artists themselves and the producers, but not the songwriters. So this new category will now give Latin songwriters the chance to take a trophy home. But let's not forget that there is a whole separate Latin Grammys that already exists. Like, that's not going to go away. So the separate but equal feeling that this gives off on the surface definitely exists. Like, it is there. Now, the Asian Pop category, that's a little bit different because the Grammys have never had an Asian-centered category. This is the first, and I do have a bigger issue with this one. Number 1 is the timing. Now, this new category, according to the Recording Academy, is meant to recognize Asian pop music performances originating from or widely recognized within Asian market, which includes K-pop, J-pop, C-pop, Mandopop. Now, going forward, I'm going to use BTS as the example Asian act because they're the biggest Asian act in the world, but this really applies to all Asian acts. Now, BTS have been Grammy nominated 2 times, once for Dynamite in 2021 and the second for Butter in 2022. And they lost both times. And after 2022, they took a 3.5-year hiatus to do their military service. So they've been gone. But now that they're back, and they're back with this big, brand new, shiny album, it's kind of funny how they're introducing this category now. Especially when you consider that over the last few years, almost a decade, I would say, since 2017, K-pop has kind of become an inescapable cement brick in the music industry. I hope you can see where I'm going with this. This category is a complete pigeonhole. Even if Arirang gets nominated in the big major music categories, this new category kind of negates that, which leads into my second issue, the linguistic loophole. Now, the Academy states that the track must feature a meaningful use of 1 or more Asian languages to qualify. They explicitly noted that songs using Asian languages only as isolated words, brief ad-libs, or phrases will not qualify, and completely English tracks also will not qualify. I mentioned BTS got nominated twice, and both times they were for English songs. So those songs would be ineligible for this new category. So the Grammys kind of created their own catch-22 in a way. If an Asian act releases a fully English song and it becomes a hit, like Swim, for example, it can get pushed into the main major categories where it has historically been snubbed. But if they release a song in their native language, it gets tucked away into the new Asian pop subcategory. Now, my issue with this is that it's going to give voters who typically do not engage in Asian pop music or Asian music in general, it will give them a clear exit ramp. The thousands of voters who don't bother listening to Asian acts can just check a different box, which leads me into my third issue. Why is there only one category? I know this makes me sound like a hypocrite, but if the Grammys were going to go this route, like if they were already going to do this, then why not go all the way? In the Latin categories, there's like 5 different ones. There's album, song, Latin rock, urban, tropical. It says to me that the Recording Academy only sees Asian acts as K-pop, and that's it. If I put out a song, it's K-pop. Again, we don't know what's going to be nominated. This might be a total non-issue, but I can totally see why people are mad. As an Asian person, I'm also a little bit irked.
What I think a lot of people are missing here by just reading the headlines is that to qualify for this category, the song has to include meaningful use of an Asian language. Based on the Grammys' official rules, it says that incidental or minimal use, for example, isolated words, ad-libs, or brief phrases do not qualify as meaningful use of the language. The Grammys are pretty much rejecting the Western marketing strategies that these K-pop companies have been pushing so hard the past few years. What have we been seeing the past few years from K-pop groups? English songs, whether it's an English version of a song that's originally in Korean or a song that's just straight up in English with no Korean version. Companies naturally assumed that English songs would do better than Korean songs in the West, even though most K-pop fans that I know still prefer the Korean versions. I've seen a lot of BTS fans mad about the addition of this new category, saying that it's pretty much trying to exclude BTS and other K-pop groups from being included in the main categories, which that could definitely be true. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think a lot of people don't even understand that BTS's biggest hits from the past few years wouldn't even be eligible for this new category because they're all in English. Dynamite, Butter, Permission to Dance, now even Swim. These are all English songs, so they would not be eligible for this category. Other big K-pop songs from the past few years that wouldn't be eligible for this category are Cupid by 50/50. That was massive in the US. It got so much pop radio play, but that was the English version. I'm not even sure that Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters would even qualify. In my opinion, the Korean lyrics are definitely an integral part of the song, though they only form a very small part of the song. It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out at the Grammys, but also if we're gonna see less English songs by K-pop groups. Honestly, I would welcome that.
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy RottenRoseQ, back with another video, but this one isn't a reaction video. This one is to shine some light on something that just happened with the Grammys that I do think that we need to have a full conversation about. The Grammys just announced new categories right after BTS dropped Arirang. Timing, right? Which was clearly one of the biggest, most impactful albums of the year, hands down. They broke records, dominated globally, and showed out at the AMAs against some of the biggest American artists that we have. And none of them truly looked like competition. I think the whole world knew that BTS was going to win. Now they made all of these extra categories, and it's got me thinking, this looks a little familiar. This is the same thing that they do to rappers that come from America, preferably black ones, that decide to make genre-bending music, whether it be pop, whether it be Afrobeat, just music that is not primarily hip-hop or rap. They always get treated as rappers. Even Drake has seen it happen throughout his career, where he's always getting looked at like a rapper, never being looked at as someone that's making music of genres that have nothing to do with hip hop or rap, which is pretty insulting if you ask me, because it's putting you in a box that you'll never be able to escape from, no matter who you are, no matter how big you make it, no matter what genre of music that you make that actually becomes successful. Tyler, the Creator, has been speaking on this for years, and a lot of other artists have been speaking on this for years as well, the way that the Grammys seems to rig us. It seems like the moment that South Korea and HYBE figured out the formula, mastered the game, and started checking every single box, now they want to isolate them. Now it's time for their isolation. Basically create new boxes so that they don't have to compete directly in the main categories. I think that's kind of messed up in my opinion. This one feels like a clear slap in the face to BTS, the BTS army, to South Korean artists, to international artists that learn how to gain Western acceptance, become bigger than the world, and still not be acknowledged for what you've actually became. It's pretty messed up. They basically took away the right to win at the highest level. I don't think that that's cool at all. But there's a few more clips of people speaking about it, so I want to play a few more clips, and then I'll come back with my full, unfiltered thoughts about this one.
A Grammys Recording Academy member said how the BTS army should push for BTS to win Album of the Year and not be marginalized in the Best Asian Pop Music Performance category. Let's get into it. A few days ago, the Grammys announced new changes, and a part of those new changes included 5 new categories, and one of those categories are Best Asian Pop Music Performance, a category that celebrates K-pop, J-pop, and C-pop. A lot of BTS fans realized BTS could get their first Grammy through this category. Fans have been wanting this category for such a long time, but some people find it unfair because of BTS's status. They are a global phenomenon. A Grammy Recording Academy member Adam Burson came out to talk about the new category. He says if BTS actually wins the Best Asian Pop category, that would be very insulting to them. They've been nominated 5 times in the past at the Grammys. To no avail, they have never won a Grammy. And now he's making a push for the BTS Army to make BTS win Album of the Year at the Grammys.
I think BTS Army should make a push for Arirang to win Album of the Year and not be marginalized with some Best Asian Pop Music category. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great if smaller artists could get recognized, but not BTS. BTS is way too big and way too important of a group to be falling into this trap.
I do agree, BTS deserves big category recognition. If they could nominate Rosé and Huntrix in the big category, they could nominate BTS. It's about damn time. What are your thoughts on this?
When Bad Bunny won Album of the Year at the Grammy this year, I felt something shift. For the first time in 68 years, a Spanish language album took home the top prize. So I thought, if Spanish got through that door, Korean can't be far behind. Then the Grammys answered. A few days ago, they announced a brand new category, Best Asian Pop Music Performance. K-pop, J-pop, C-pop, all in one box. So here's a thought. What if Mama, Korea's biggest music awards, created an American pop category? English language songs only in their own separate room, away from the main awards. Sounds ridiculous, right? That's exactly my point. That's how Asian pop sounds from the other side. Here's what's interesting. The US doesn't group British, Canadian, and Australian music together and call it Anglo-pop. So why does music from Korea, Japan, China, Thailand, and Indonesia all get the same label? These countries have completely different languages, histories, and cultures. The answer goes way back. For a long time, non-Western cultures were easier to name as one thing than to actually understand as many. And here's where it gets more specific. BTS was nominated for the exact same Grammy category 3 years in a row, Best Pop Duo Group Performance. Dynamite, then Butter, then their Coldplay club My Universe. Same box every year. Different song, no win. Meanwhile, every time BTS performed at the Grammys, the ratings went up. The show got the audience. BTS got nothing. This is new. It's a pattern. So yes, this new Asian pop category is recognition of something rare. Asian music's influence is impossible to ignore now. But at the same time, it puts that influence back inside the box that America built. And that raises a bigger question. Why, even now, when Korean culture is genuinely global, does it still feel like we need the Grammys to confirm it? Why does an American award feel like the final word on what's world class? What we actually need isn't a better room in their house. It's our own way of deciding what great music is, on our own terms, without waiting for someone else to say so first.
It sucks that whenever we, and I mean guys that look like me, do anything that's genre bending or that's anything, they always put it in a rap or urban category, which is, and I don't like that urban word. It's just a politically correct way to say the N-word to me. So when I hear that, I'm just like, why can't we just be in pop? Why can't it just, you know what I mean? So I felt like half of me feels like the rap nomination was a backhanded compliment. Like, oh, my little cousin wants to play the game. Let's give him the unplugged controller so he could shut up and feel good about it. That's what it felt like a bit. But another half of me is very grateful that the art that I made could be acknowledged on a level like this when I don't do the radio stuff. I'm not played in Target. I'm in a whole different world than what a lot of people here listen to. So I'm grateful and like,
And again, BTS has truly paved the way for K-pop, because what do you mean now that there's going to be an Asian category at the Grammys? Conveniently, in the year that BTS has come back and has had their biggest album yet with Arirang, or there are many people that are rejoicing that now their faves can finally get a Grammy nomination. Before, BTS were the only ones able to grab nominations because their competition was not the K-pop industry at that point, and hasn't been for a long time. Their competition is literally Western artists. BTS is going against Justin Bieber, they're going against Taylor Swift, they're going against Drake, Harry Styles, Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande. That is their competition. I just want to add an Asian pop category. Now people are going to think that getting a Grammy nomination is easy, and they're gonna say that, oh, it wasn't that hard for BTS to ever get a Grammy nomination before, because look, now my fave has a Grammy nomination. Like, yes, all K-pop groups work hard, And it is great that now they are being recognized, but it's such a backhanded compliment at the same time. And ARMYs know that other stands are just going to discredit BTS and their impact on the Grammys and having this award added. BTS has truly paved the way in the West because there is a clear impact and effect on Western music award shows after BTS started blowing up in the West. Once BTS started winning awards in the regular categories, suddenly K-pop and Asian pop categories are being added. All these idols and all these groups can really truly dream big. They don't have to think about getting Daesungs at the Mama Awards or the MMAs. They can think about being on the Billboard charts, getting Billboard Awards, getting AMAs, getting VMAs, getting Grammy nominations. And that's all thanks to BTS.
In itself. But, why giving a shit about it? Hating is their freedom, and they have their right to hate, but if it was me, I'd rather just talk with my friends in some cafe and then forget about it, but rather than tweeting about it or some interview, I won't do that, because I'm a grown up. But anyway, we didn't come to Vegas for the Grammys. We came to Vegas for the armies, right? The record, the title, the accomplishments, the trophies, they're really important, but that wasn't the first thing, the first reason why we started all these things, right? These 2 hours, communion, energy, eye to eye, singing along, dancing together, this communication, this is everything. This is why we're doing this, right?
Now that we've finally seen all of that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my unfiltered opinion. This is not just about one award show. This feels like the first real silent war move from the West to let BTS and K-pop artists know that you guys will never be fully accepted as the best that pop music has to offer in the world. No matter how big you get, no matter how much you dominate. They're basically upset that South Korea has studied the game, perfected their strategy, and now they're running circles around the industry. I remember a time in Western music, American music, that people began to say that the thought of artist development was dead. People didn't want to work with an artist that had talent but didn't necessarily know how to get their talent out to the world. They'd rather work with someone that already knows how to interact with the world, whether it be social media, whether it be YouTube. They basically want to know that your numbers are doing what it needs to do before they sign you. Here's the issue that basically gave us now in America. Now a lot of our artists are what I would like to consider microwave artists, not necessarily built to be oven-made music. What I mean by that is that a lot of our artists in America today are not built to withstand the time. This is why we see so many artists in America of years ago selling out successful tours in ways that artists of today are not capable of doing. And that doesn't make any sense. But this is the world that we are living in. I've been having such a disagreement with what I've been seeing going on in the industry for such a long time. And I think that it's a moment like this that begins to finally show its ugly head. Instead of giving Arirang its rightful flowers in the biggest categories, they moved the goalposts completely. That's not cool. Especially in a time where there's no American album that we can compare and say that it was bigger or even close to it. There was no American artist that did a world tour this year that really dropped a beautiful album that we're going crazy over. BTS just had a moment after so many years of things that they've been through. They deserve their flowers. This is the same energy that they give black artists when they're noticing that the trajectory of their career is way too large. When they see that this black artist is transcending just hip hop, he's not just doing rap. He's not just giving you guys bars. He's giving you guys actual music. When it comes to black musicians, for so many years, we have been basically torn apart by the label. And it's so sad. So to see them pretty much playing the same game with K-pop, the same game with South Korea, that's terrible. And I truly hope that it doesn't go the same way that it has went with us, because something got to be done about this. Great music deserves the awards that great music deserves. There shouldn't be a political conversation that happens that changes the opportunity for this music to meet the accolades that it truly deserves. That's messed up. My message to every artist and every dreamer watching this: stop waiting for their validation. BTS showed the world what talent, discipline, and being true to yourself will actually get you. I love what I'm doing with my YouTube page because I'm going through the whole career of BTS. And if you get a chance to go through their career, you will recognize that they've kind of always been the underdogs that have always won. Kind of like what 50 said a long time ago: hate it or love it, the underdogs are on top. So, with that said, man, I do want to say this much. On my BTS deep dive journey, I have learned so much. It has been an incredible journey so far. If you guys are not too familiar with BTS, I suggest for you guys to do your own deep dive and find out who they are, find out about the struggles that they went through, find out what lyrics that they actually said themselves, so that you can really get a better understanding of who they are as people. And what you will notice is there's so much alignment between us and them. So much alignment. And I haven't necessarily known how to make the videos to speak on the alignment, because for me personally, I've been making these videos just to speak on facts and the things that need to be known. But I believe now with what the Grammys is doing, we need to kind of shift this conversation to really understand, and whether or not you guys even think that this is acceptable. Let me know in the comments, do you think that this was cool, or do you think that the Grammys is not wrong for trying to create these extra categories? I would love to know what you guys are thinking in the comments about this, because I'll let y'all know how I feel about it. I do believe that it's a way to pigeonhole the guys, and I don't like that. So if there are any BTS Army members that are feeling a way about this as well, I guess in this video, I'm letting you know I kind of feel a way about it too. And I want to know more research on it. So as you guys already know, on this channel, the comments are literally used to learn something. So please do not hesitate to teach me something in the comments. Let me know if it's something that I'm missing. Let me know if there's something that I'm just not seeing here. But from what I'm able to see, when I gather all those thoughts together, I think that it's pretty messed up that they're being pigeonholed, or that they're now being forced to compete in a new category, as if they weren't in the same category this year, they wouldn't be winning and walking away with the trophy. RM has spoke on their relationship with the Grammys, and I really believe that the Grammys making this move is just making the relationship even worse. But I'm not going to keep you guys too long. I also do want to say this much: for anybody that would like to support the page, because I have been going through a lot of back and forth with YouTube since I've started this page. If you guys haven't noticed, my page took a moment of being, I don't want to use the word demonetized because I don't believe that that's what it was, but basically, since they need to send me my verification things in the mail and I haven't received them yet, and it's been over a month, they basically took off a few of the perks that comes with the YouTube page. So if you guys do want to support us in these trying times, please go ahead and become a Patreon member, where we do exclusive videos there. I also am working on a lot more content, not just BTS, not just music. So I will be putting that on my Patreon as well. So if you guys want to know more about the Rotten Rose family, or just what RottenRoseQ is doing, please let me know. I wanted to take out time to make this video because I know that I haven't really made a video in a while, and I just kind of want to let you guys know why I haven't. I've never felt these feelings that I've been feeling about YouTube, so I want to be a human about it, because I believe that if any of you guys are ever trying to create a YouTube page, or if this is being watched by somebody that is creating a YouTube page, you're going to go through ups and downs. And it's never about the ups and downs. It's always about how you deal with it. So with that said, I'm making this video with a smile on, because I'm still myself. I'm still Army. And no matter what challenges that I go through with this platform, with comments, with anything negative, none of that is going to deter me from what I'm doing here, because the positive love, the positive reinforcement, the people that I've got a chance to get to know since I've created this page, I wouldn't trade you guys for the world. you guys mean so much more to me than the small negative energy. I think you guys get what I'm saying. So don't want to hold y'all too much longer. It's your guy RottenRoseQ. Appreciate y'all for rocking out with me. Have a beautiful day. I'm out of here.